Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nikmatus Syifa Fauziah. Today I will present about my final annotated bibliography. First, I will present about the introduction. Assessment is one part of teaching and learning activities, starting from elementary school level to the highest level of the lecture. Assessment is the result of the student learning evaluation. The assessment that used by most teachers is summative assessment method. These activities that are usually carried out a summative assessment system, but in fact, summative assessment in improving the ability to write English as a foreign language is considered ineffective, because summative assessment only provides an assessment without students know where their mistakes are. According from William Day says that formative assessment is an important component in the classroom assessment activities. Next is my research question. There are what is the effect of formative assessment in rating ability of EFL? Next is the first, according from the Annotatee in their journal with the title is Formative Assessment of Writing in English as Foreign Language. This journal describes what formative assessment on writing activity assessment in Norway. This study used mixed method. And the result of this journal is the formative assessment, especially feedback that teacher give to the student in writing English. Some students say that it's effective to increase their writing ability. This journal has good research. There are used data collect and interview, but in this journal only examine a narrow aspect that is only a high school level, and there are some research study elements that are unclear to students. So maybe this journal quite interesting to read for someone who wants to examine how formative assessment has an impact on student writing ability. The next is according from Cho in their journal with the title is The Role of Scoring in Formative Assessment of Second Language Reading. The study describes what formative assessment gives scoring and feedback to foreign language learners. This journal used a mixed method, quantitative and qualitative method, with the participant the best student in Korea. The article discussed about there are students from two different class categories, each of which had advantage and disadvantage. But even so, with the provision of motivation and feedback on a regular basis could improve student reading abilities. This article good because the research clearly illustrates the purpose of this journal and use a significant comparison of the two types of categories. But in this journal, it's quite difficult to understand because the rating is not neat. This journal is suitable for you who want to research about scoring or formative assessment because the research use describe what reader needs. The next is according from Guadu in their journal with the title EFL Instructor Belief and Practice of Formative Assessment in Teaching Writing. This article was point about how the teacher of EFL in Makos believe that formative assessment in their reading class can increase their student reading ability. This research used mixed method, and the result of this study is after doing research and interview with the participant, the teacher in Marcos University agree if formative assessment can increase their student reading ability. But some teachers also disagree because the formative assessment not effective in the class because it takes a lot of time. This journal is good because research in the journal show the strength and weakness from the formative assessment in reading activities, but the goals that gain in this journal not achieved and make some readers is not sure about this research. And this journal is suitable for readers who want to result that show comparative ability from formative assessment. The next is according from Nikmatus B in their journal with the title is Incorporating Formative Assessment in Iranian EFL Writing. This journal shows about how formative assessment helps student in Iran, in university at Iran, writing English essay. The study used a mixed method. There are quantitative and qualitative methods. The author thinks that formative assessment better than summative assessment in helping English major students increase their essay writing ability. The result of this study is from the interview and data collection. If formative assessment help college students to increase their reading ability, and they get correction for the wrong grammars and vocabulary feedback given in the formative assessment helps them write essay better. This journal is quite good because the explanation of the research quite clear, but the result of this study within the scope of undergraduate student alone cannot be broadly correlated to other level. This journal is suitable for people who are studying the use of formative assessment at the undergraduate student level. The next is according from the Chen in their journal with the title Formative Assessment of Academic English Writing for Chinese, EFL Learners. The study about how formative assessment help EFL in China study English. The study uses mixed method. There are quantitative and qualitative method. From the research, a result of this study is formative assessment in essay writing activity actually have a good effect for EFL in China. From the data, we know if giving feedback and correlation make their essay that written by learners better than before. They know the mistake and feel easier to finish their essay. This journal is quite good because in this journal it explains formative assessment in detail from the benefit, difference in summative assessment, and this journal is suitable for someone who wants to know the effectiveness of feedback on formative assessment in completing their essay. The next is according from Kodab Kasadeh in their journal with the title Investigasi EFL Teacher Conception and Literacy of Formative Assessment. The journal points out about the formative assessment that implements in Iran, and the teacher in Iran have but the teacher in Iran have alleged knowledge about formative assessment. This writer believe that formative assessment activity can help students to increase their learning from some direction. But it all depends on how the teacher design their formative assessment activities in the classroom. And from the questionnaire that give to participants, the result of this study is formative assessment is a practical or verbal assessment given by the teacher to student. And the teacher who act as an instructor in this activity must have a literacy about the formative assessment. Then the teacher can share with his college about this activity. The journal is quite good because the results of provide are quite clear. But from the newbie in the leaders, some research methods are quite difficult to understand. The journal is suitable for leaders who want to find out how teachers deal with formative assessment. The last is conclusion. The result of the study of all the journal above mentioned if the assessment formative assessment has good impact on the ability to write on EFL. Feedback and correlation in grammar and vocabulary provided by the teacher makes students more quickly complete their paper reading activities better and easier. For most students, after the interview also mentioned if feedback given by the teacher makes them aware of their mistake and shortcomings, and positive feedback given makes them more enthusiastic and motivated in learning. But there are also some obstacles in implementation in this formative assessment. There are lack of many teacher lacks of the literacy about this method, and some teachers do not like this activity because it takes time. Then some negative feedback makes students become anxious and not excited in study. Even so, formative assessment activities are proven to be able to improve the ability to write EFL rather than formative assessment activities. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.